There's nothing that excites me more than a good nail-biting horror movie. So in today's Friday the 13th special, I'm going to give you a list of horror movies which I promise will make you feel the ultimate chills. But before I begin the video, do take a moment to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done it already, and definitely do hit the notification bell so that you do not miss out on any of my latest uploads. So, number 1 on my list would be Before I Wake, directed by Mike Flanagan. Now, I don't know how many of you have watched this movie, but this is one horror movie that is completely different from all the other horror movies I've ever watched. And this is actually a beautiful horror movie. And I know this sounds very contradictory, but it's beautiful. The movie is beautiful. It's beautiful and it's also got elements of horror. And you will love watching this, especially if you are a fantasy lover, you are going to love it. This is a story about an orphan who is eventually adopted by a family, a couple who have recently lost their child, and the role of the orphan is played by Jacob Tremblay. His name is Cody in the film. I love Jacob Tremblay and he is fantastic in this movie. He is super duper fantastic in this movie. This movie is not the typical horror movie that you will watch, like, you know, the jump scare ones. No, you cannot expect that from this movie. This movie is very lilting. It's almost like poetry. Young guy, Cody, he has this magical ability of, you know, manifesting his dreams in reality. So whenever he would be asleep, whatever he would see in his dreams, that would actually manifest in reality at that very moment. So whatever he was dreaming about, it would actually come true at that very moment when he was dreaming it. And he had this one particular monster always featuring in his dreams, and the name of that monster was Canker Man, the Canker Man. And he would often feature in Cody's dreams, and he would often come and tell him that no matter where you go, I will always be there with you. I will never leave you. You can never get rid of me. No matter where you are, where you go, I will always be there with you. And Cody has this belief that the Canker Man actually killed his own mother, the Canker Man ate his own mother. And whoever adopted him after the death of his mother, the Canker Man came one by one and ate them too. So much so that one of the families who had adopted Cody before this particular family, the guy in that family, he actually tried to shoot and kill Cody because he thought that this power that he had, even though it was not intentional, it was destroying a lot of people, a lot of lives and a lot of families. So Cody should be killed. This was his opinion about the whole thing. And he lost his own wife. The Canker Man actually came and ate his wife, just like it ate Cody's mother, the Canker Man from Cody's dreams. So he wanted to kill Cody, and that's why he was jailed for trying to kill that child. And then Cody is adopted into this family, and I'm not going to reveal anything more than this, but it's a beautiful horror movie, and you'll know why I'm calling it beautiful over and over again when you watch the movie. Now this boy Cody, he used to love butterflies, different kinds of butterflies. He even had a book where there were pictures of different butterflies and the names of the different varieties of butterflies, and he used to look at that book over and over again, and at night he used to forcefully keep himself awake. He would not allow himself to sleep because he knew that once he went off to sleep, the Canker Man would arrive again and probably, you know, eat up this couple too. Maybe the mother, maybe the father, anyone. The Canker Man could come and eat up anyone, and he did not want that to happen because he knew that this has happened before too, and he did not want this family, this new couple, to suffer the same. So that is why he prevented himself from falling asleep. He would eat a lot of stimulants, you know, really sugary stuff like very sugary drinks, and then medicines that will help him keep awake. And he would, whenever the couple used to go to bed, he would stay awake with a torch in his room and read that book of butterflies that he had. And at first, when he slept, when he just dozed off, the couple who would be still awake in the drawing room, suddenly they would see that different colors of butterflies, different types of butterflies, and the butterflies are all glowing butterflies. It's not like normal butterflies. really beautiful glowing butterflies. Blue, orange, red, pink, green, different colors of butterflies. They would just fill up their room, and they are absolutely enthralled at the sight. And it's such a beautiful scene. Oh my god, I won't even be able to describe how beautiful the scene is. Please watch the movie. You're going to miss it if you do not watch the movie. And the whole explanation that we have about the cankerman, the whole symbolism behind the cankerman, it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, I do not want to reveal anything because really this movie, I don't want to give any spoilers. You have to watch it. It's an experience in itself, and I do not want to spoil that experience. Go ahead and watch this horror movie. It's not a scary horror movie. It's not. Yes, the cankerman is kind of scary, but not that scary. I mean, it's not gross. It's something that you will enjoy. It's very nice. Number 2, The Exorcism of Emily Rose. I know you've watched Exorcist. I know you think Exorcist is the scariest movie ever made, scariest horror movie, and I do not want to contradict you. Yes, The Exorcist is kind of scary, but a major portion of the movie Exorcist is boring too. The scary things start happening right towards the end of the movie. So yes, Exorcist is also kind of gross, you know, the green vomit and things like that. I cannot take those. So Exorcism of Emily Rose, on the other hand, is a movie that is thoroughly interesting and bone-chilling right from the start to the end. It's not like it has a huge lag in the middle, which is absolutely devoid of scary stuff. It's not like The Exorcist, but it's on a completely different level, and it mostly deals with a courtroom case which is, initiated after the death of Emily Rose. Now, her family was of the opinion that the father who was trying to exorcise Emily Rose, he prevented her from getting treatment. They thought that this was all some mental disorder and Emily would be cured if the mental disorder could be cured. And they thought that this father who was trying to exorcise Emily, he was actually preventing her from getting the much needed treatment that she required. And that is why the whole entire court case, and the father was put in jail because he was supposed to be responsible for the death of Emily Rose. So the entire movie is based on a court case, and within the court case you have the scenes of the actual event that happened with Emily Rose, and they are very scary, and the court case is so interesting. I mean, it's gripping, it's so gripping, you'll not be able to take your eyes off the movie even for 1 minute. It's very interesting, and moreover, this is based on a true story. And when I read the story behind this whole movie, oh my god, I had sleepless nights. I mean, the very thought of such things happening in reality and then a movie being based on that, it was too much for me to take. So watch The Exorcism of Emily Rose. If you did not like Exorcist, come to my team. Yes, you and I will be best friends. But watch Exorcism of Emily Rose. It's thoroughly interesting. You're going to enjoy. You're going to love it. Watch that. But yes, you might have a few sleepless nights. Please do not blame me for that. And if you do not have sleepless nights, I mean, what's the use of watching horror movies, right? You can just watch any other movie. So do watch Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Ego som quentus habitat.
Et ego sum qui venet in nomine eius.
Num patas me expellere sacerdos. Tenter. Ego te provoco.
Number 3, Rosemary's Baby. Now the title track of Rosemary's Baby is so popular. I'm quite sure you've heard it. quite sure. You've heard it. You've heard it somewhere, in some movie, in some other horror movie you've heard it, because it's very, very famous. It's a quite old movie. It's not like recent. It's very old. It's from the late 1900s, I think. And you know about Rosemary's Baby too, it's not explicit. I mean, these horror stuff, they are not explicitly happening. It's not just thrown in your face. And that is what I like. I mean, I like those kinds of horror movies where things are not that explicit. It's not like because I'm scared I don't like horror movies where really explicit stuff are happening, but you know, I like that suspense, the mystery behind it. It leaves room for interpretation. You can interpret the movie in your own way. You can interpret what's happening in your own way. And each of us will have a different interpretation. So yes, I like those movies where things are not that explicit, where things are somewhat subtle, somewhat covert, and you have to rack your brains and think of the possible interpretations of whatever is happening. So yes, Rosemary's Baby is one such movie. It's a very old movie, and you know, it's once again, it's not explicit. It's not explicit at all. It's about this whole apartment, you know, very old apartment, where it was believed that people who used to practice witchcraft and Satan worship, they used to live in that apartment for many, many years. So this was the reputation of that apartment, and that is where Rosemary and her husband goes to live. That is the apartment they choose to live. And Rosemary obviously is pregnant, Rosemary's Baby, you know. And then they have a neighbor, like living in the opposite flat, or maybe just the flat beside theirs, I don't exactly remember. And that flat is occupied by two very old people. They are a couple, a very old woman and her husband. And from the very beginning of the movie, they are very good to Rosemary. And when they hear that Rosemary is pregnant, what they do is they take over all her responsibility. They even tell her to go to a different doctor, like a doctor who they know, and not the usual doctor who everyone goes to, not the doctor that all her friends are suggesting her to go to, but a doctor that they know, and a doctor who you know, cures patients and who deals with the whole pregnancy process in a very herbal way. They do not give you like medicines or tablets or capsules like that. They usually, you know, they grind herbs and use different kinds of other stuff, plants and roots of plants. Tannis root, yes, tannis root, they use tannis root in a juice, and that is what they make you have in order to keep the baby healthy. So they take over all her responsibilities. They literally take care of her like her own parents, like probably even more than her own parents. And they have this whole group of friends, this whole almost like a cult that come to visit Rosemary often and ask about the baby. They are all very concerned about the baby. Okay, so I shouldn't be continuing any further. I shouldn't be divulging more of the plot, but something very sinister happens with the baby at the end, and that is for you to figure out. Yes, watch Rosemary's Baby. You will be thrilled. You're going to enjoy it.
Done to it.
The next one up is The Witch by Robert Eggers, featuring Anya Taylor-Joy, and all the Anya Taylor-Joy fans out there, you're going to love this movie. This horror movie is not like the typical horror movies, the jump scare ones, and you know, just a ghost appearing out of nowhere and you know, scaring you. No. Once again, this is a very subtle movie, and this movie, the best thing about this movie is that it is extremely atmospheric. It portrays the old New England atmosphere so well. You're going to feel the chills from the very beginning of the movie. And I also like the symbols used in the movie. The apple symbol, the original sin. You know, The movie is very rich in symbolism. The movie is very atmospheric. And what I loved most about the movie was this whole concept of the witch as a symbol of unbridled female sexual energy. And also the message that the more you try to demonize a person, the more you try to ostracize and demonize a person, an innocent person, the more you're actually trying to push that person to that zone. Even though the person is innocent, if you are trying to brand someone as a witch, as a demon, the more you're trying to demonize someone, you're actually pushing that person towards taking that path. And that is exactly what happens in the movie. Once again, I'm not going to reveal the plot of the movie, but I love this movie, and this is an unpopular opinion because most horror movie lovers, they do not like the witch. They think there's nothing scary in the witch. They think that it doesn't make sense, but it does make sense if you're able to decode the symbols in the movie. It does make sense. So go ahead and watch The Witch if you haven't done it already.
Boo! There you are. Boo! Where are some? Where are some? Where is that little man? Boo! There you are. There you are. Boo! Sam? Samuel!
And the last one would be The Shining by Stanley Kubrick. Once again, it's not a very explicit movie, and The Shining is a very, very famous movie, and it's also got a sequel, Dr. Sleep. The name of the sequel is Dr. Sleep. However, the characters have been changed, everything has been changed. Dr. Sleep is like a very original kind of sequel and a very original adaptation, or should I say, you know, afterlife of Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. But The Shining, oh my god, I don't know, the first time I watched it, more than scaring me, there's this sense of uneasiness that I felt, which I usually do not feel when I'm watching horror movies. There's this sense of imminence, that something is about to happen, but that doesn't really happen. And you cannot exactly pinpoint what is happening. Most of it is the atmosphere playing tricks on your mind and just testing your patience and ability to function like a proper human being. There's something very strange, very blood-curdling about the entire movie that I could not exactly say. I could not exactly put a finger on what the thing was that caused such feelings inside me. Definitely there was no ghost. You could not see ghosts around. Yes, there was a very shriveled old woman standing inside a bathroom. Yes, you can consider that to be a ghost, but she was not scary at all. I did not find her scary. But there were certain scenes about the hotel. It was like the entire hotel where the movie is taking place. That entire hotel was an entity of its own. It's not like there were separate ghosts inside the hotel, but the hotel itself was an entity. The hotel itself was the ghost. There was no separate ghost living inside the hotel and haunting other people. No. But there was something about the hotel itself that's going to, you know, just leave you feeling very uneasy and for a long time after you've watched the movie. And there was something about the characters, the way the scenes have been portrayed, the way the characters have acted out their roles, especially the woman, especially the man's expressions. Oh my god, I cannot possibly explain the way I felt when I first watched The Shining. Dr. Sleep was nowhere close to it. Yes, it was a very original sort of adaptation, but no, it did not make me feel the same way as The Shining made me feel when I first watched it.
Red rum. 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 Stop it. Red rum. Red rum.
So these are my top 5 recommendations of horror movies. Do watch them. Today is the perfect day for watching horror movies. It's Friday the 13th. So yes, if you are free today, definitely do watch these movies, at least some of these movies. You are going to enjoy them. And then let me know in the comment section below if you like these movies or not, or if you have any other suggestions that you would want to share with me, some movies, some horror movies that you've watched and really liked that you also want me to watch, and all my other viewers to watch. Do leave them all in the comment section below. Hope you liked this video, hope you enjoyed the video. See you once again in my next video. Hope you're keeping well and safe. Hope you're happy. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye.